The headline, "Human Remains Found in West Haven," grabbed me by the throat and squeezed. There was a big colour photo underneath. Uniformed police and forensics people in white jumpsuits picking through damp green bushland. A landscape of blue gum, winter sunlight spilling in through the canopy of branches overhead, casting long shadows over the investigators. I felt sick. The accompanying article explained that a team of surveyors had been updating boundary lines at the edge of the West Haven State Forest. A member of the group, I pictured a hefty man in a high-vis vest with stony, unmoving eyes, although there was nothing in the copy to suggest this, stumbled on the body while taking measurements. The corpse was severely decomposed, so estimating a time of death was difficult, but the police were speculating it had likely been out there for years, probably decades. A fresh wave of nausea hit. I thought I might throw up, but feared that if I ran for the toilet, my legs would give out beneath me and I'd crumple to the floor of my study like a popped balloon. Instead, I put my head between my legs and took long, deep breaths, a passenger in the brace position as their plane crashed into a mountain. Because when I was 16, my best friend went missing. After a while, it might have been 30 minutes, but it was probably closer to 3. I got my nerves under control and put my computer to sleep. I listened to the drone of the TV in the next room. Steffi, my 6-year-old, was re-watching Dragon Riders for the 50th time. I didn't want her to come in and find me wrecked and shivering like this, so I forced myself up, then slipped quietly out of my study and across the apartment. The stealth was unnecessary. Steffi was kneeling inches from the television, totally engrossed, hands folded as if in prayer, a true believer listening to a sermon. I could have led a marching band through the living room and she wouldn't have noticed. Our apartment was a 2-bedroom in Elwood, a slightly posh suburb of Melbourne. The interior was open plan, tidy kitchen and simple living space. The place was small. We nearly murdered each other during the pandemic, but we were just 2 streets back from the beach, so you could smell the sea when the windows were open. I stepped onto the balcony and closed the sliding door behind me. It was an icy, storm-lit Friday afternoon. The cool blast of wind reset my nervous system. Huddled against the wind in just a t-shirt and jeans, I found Chris Chen's number in my phone. He answered on the first ring, as if he'd been waiting for me to call. "Have you heard?" I asked. "Yesterday," he said. There was a strained, resigned tone to his voice. "I was working up the nerve to call you. Feels like a punch in the nuts, doesn't it?" Chen and I didn't talk much anymore. He'd call every few months, usually late at night after a few drinks, feeling nostalgic. Sometimes I'd answer, but mostly I let it go to voicemail. Not because I didn't like the guy. Chen and I were like brothers back in the 90s, but because sometimes it hurt to remember. "Do you think it's him?" I asked. "If not him, who else?" "A hiker?" I said. "Some poor idiot who went out into the forest unprepared and got turned around? You remember what those tracks were like." The West Haven State Forest was a vast stretch of wilderness packed with red stringy bark and peppermint gums. There were high rocky ledges and deep valleys that turned every shade of green, depending on the season. The whole place was foaming with wildlife. We spent much of our childhood exploring it, memorising the trails that zigzagged through the woods like a maze. After staying up late to watch repeats of Tour of Duty, we'd pretend to be soldiers fighting in the hot jungles of Vietnam. Then, when Jurassic Park hit in '93, we'd be running from velociraptors and the T-Rex. Later, when we were too old to play, we just walked and smoked stolen cigarettes, talking about girls and ghosts. It wasn't just Chen and me. There were 4 members of our gang. "If a hiker went missing out there, it would have to be reported," Chen said. "There would have to be a massive search and rescue operation, and it would have been all over the news." "I know," I said. "I think I'm just looking for a way to make it not him." "Yeah." "Have you talked to Leeson?" I asked. Jeffrey Leeson was the 3rd member of our gang. He was in the police force now, a senior constable with the West Haven Crime Investigation Unit. "He came over to my place last night," Chen said. "He was very stoic. He warned me not to jump to any conclusions, but I could smell the scotch on his breath." He hesitated. Then, "He saw it." "Saw what?" "The remains."